The USA as we know it could be completely different. If it weren't for Abraham Lincoln and his efforts during the Civil War, we may not be living in the United States of America. Now, after I've taken multiple classes on U.S. history and Civil War history, it has shown me that Abraham Lincoln is the only reason that this country is united today. Now, through his proclamations, powerful words, and speeches, Abraham Lincoln held this country together during its most dire times. Now, let's start with his attitude towards the Confederacy. Abraham Lincoln did not believe that a state had the right to secede from the nation once it joined. And since he believed this, he never addressed the Confederacy as a nation, as a country. He always referred to them as an insurrection or rebellion. And you can see this in the National Archives overview of the Emancipation Proclamation and the Gettysburg Address, that he always referred to them as rebellious states. And this encouraged the Union and the Union soldiers to believe that this would be a quick victory. However, as we know now, it was quite the opposite. And after the single most bloody day in American history, the Battle of Antietam, Lincoln did his famous Emancipation Proclamation. Now, this was one of the most crucial turning points in the Civil War, and the Emancipation Proclamation did three primary things. It freed slaves in states of rebellion, allowed blacks to join the Union Army, and it changed the purpose of the war. Now, the Southern states did not recognize Lincoln as their president, and in doing so, they did not recognize the Emancipation Proclamation. However, the slaves in the South did. In seeing this, it gave them hope. So many of them escaped their Southern slave masters to go to the Union where they could be freed. And then secondly, many, around 180,000 blacks joined the Union Army. And this was devastating for the Confederacy, who were already largely outnumbered. And this gave the Union forces they need to continue the battle. And then lastly, and most importantly, the Emancipation Proclamation changed the purpose of the war. You see, the Confederacy was working in getting ties with France and Britain to recognize them, and with recognition comes help. And the Union could not let this happen, because if France and Britain helped the Confederacy, they could not win this fight. So, in the Emancipation Proclamation, they changed this war from a war on the expansion of slavery to a war abolishing slavery, which are two vastly different things. And since France and Britain had abolished slavery for many years now, this made them hesitate to work with the Confederacy and help them, which caused the Confederacy to lose the war. And they lost the war on Gettysburg. The Battle of Gettysburg was a devastating battle where they blundered and killed many of their soldiers, and without the help of the French or the British, they couldn't win anymore. And after this, Lincoln gave the famous Gettysburg Address. Now, Lincoln wasn't the main speaker. After a 2-hour speech from another speaker, Lincoln came and talked for only 2 minutes. But these may be the most famous 2 minutes in history. Now, Lincoln was honoring this battlefield and the people who died there. But in this, he referred to the United States of America as one nation. Now, previously, in government documents and all these things, everything was referenced, the United States were referenced as a loose connection, states loosely connected to one another. But in this document, Lincoln said the United States is. Now this makes all the United States one singular thing, where previously it had been the United States are, plural. So this strengthened the bond of the United States and strengthened the argument that these states cannot just secede. This renewed the Union soldiers' purpose and fight for the war, which led them to go on and win. And with this renewed purpose, they could battle and win many battles and eventually win the war. And without Lincoln, this country, the United States of America, would not exist as we know it today. With his impactful speeches, choice of words, and amazing leadership, he held this country together in its most dire times.